Imagine this. Two countries are not fighting. Their leaders are smiling in meetings. Trade is happening. People are living normal lives. And suddenly, a war begins that changes the world. Millions die. Economies collapse. Entire countries disappear from the map. But here's the shocking question. Are wars really started because of one event? Or is there a deeper hidden reason behind them? Because when historians look closely, they discover something surprising. The same hidden pattern appears again and again, before almost every major world war. And once you understand this pattern, you will start seeing today's global tensions very differently. History shows wars as chaos, but behind them lies a hidden pattern. Most people think wars start because of one sudden incident. For example, an assassination, a border conflict, a political disagreement. But those events are usually just the spark. The real cause is something deeper. Competition for power, resources, and global influence. In simple words, when powerful countries feel their power, wealth, or security is threatened, tensions slowly build up. For years, sometimes decades. And when the pressure becomes too high, even a small incident can ignite a massive war. Example 1. World War I. Let's look at the first major example. The assassination that started World War I. In 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated in Sarajevo. This event triggered the World War I. But the assassination alone did not cause the war. Because for many years before this event, European countries were competing for colonies and resources. Military spending was rising. Alliances were forming. Nationalism was growing. Major powers like Germany, France, United Kingdom, Russia were all trying to become the most powerful nation in Europe. So when the assassination happened, it was like throwing a match into a room already filled with gasoline. And within weeks, a regional conflict turned into a global war. Example 2. World War II. Now let's move to the Second World War. After World War I, Germany faced severe punishment under the Treaty of Versailles. The country lost territory, military power, huge amounts of money. This created anger and economic crisis. During this time, a leader named Adolf Hitler came to power. He promised to restore Germany's power and pride. Soon Germany started expanding into neighboring countries. And in 1939, when Germany invaded Poland, the world entered World War II. But again, the invasion was only the trigger. The deeper causes included economic collapse after the Great Depression, desire for resources and territory, struggle for global dominance. But here's the shocking truth. The same pattern still exists in the modern world. Now here is the most important question. Is this pattern still happening today? Many experts believe yes. Today, global tensions are rising between major powers like the United States, China, Russia. One major example is the Russia-Ukraine war. In 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. At first glance, it looks like a regional conflict. But the deeper issues include NATO expansion, strategic control of territory, military security, global influence. Countries across the world are now involved indirectly by providing weapons, sanctions, or political support. This shows how local conflicts can quickly become global tensions. Let's understand this pattern with a recent real-world example. Another modern example is the rising tension around Taiwan. China considers Taiwan part of its territory, but Taiwan operates as a separate democratic government. Meanwhile, United States supports Taiwan and provides military assistance. Why is Taiwan so important? Because it produces most of the world's advanced computer chips through companies like TSMC. These chips are used in smartphones, cars, military equipment, artificial intelligence. So control over Taiwan is not just political. It is also about technology power and economic dominance. This is why many analysts call Taiwan one of the most dangerous flashpoints in the world today. To make this easier to understand, let's look at a simple example from everyday life. To understand this better, think about something simple from daily life. Imagine a classroom. At first, everything is peaceful, but slowly, two groups of students start competing. Who is stronger? Who controls more influence? Who gets the best resources? The tension grows. Then one small argument happens. Suddenly, a big fight breaks out. But the fight didn't really start because of that one argument. It started because competition and tension had already been building for a long time. Countries behave in a very similar way. So what's the real lesson behind all of this? History shows us something very important. World wars rarely start because of one sudden incident. They happen when power is shifting, resources are limited, nations feel threatened, competition becomes intense. When these conditions exist, even a small event can ignite a massive conflict. Understanding this hidden pattern helps us see the world more clearly, because the tensions we see today could shape the future of global peace. Now let's look at the latest real-world example happening right now in 2026. In February 2026, tensions in the Middle East suddenly exploded into a major conflict between Israel, the United States, and Iran. The war began when Israel and the United States launched large military strikes on Iranian targets, including military bases and nuclear-related facilities. This operation was called Operation Lion's Roar by Israel and Operation Epic Fury by the United States. Explosions were reported in several Iranian cities, such as Tehran, Isfahan, and Qom. These strikes targeted Iranian military bases, missile facilities, important government officials. But the story didn't end there. But Iran didn't stay silent. Its response changed the entire situation. Soon after the attacks, Iran retaliated with missiles and drones. Iran launched strikes at Israeli territory, U.S. military bases in the Gulf, targets in countries like Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Some attacks even targeted ports, airports, and military installations across the region. At the same time, Iran's allies like Hezbollah and Lebanon began launching rockets at Israel, which further expanded the conflict. Within days, the war started affecting multiple countries across the Middle East. But the real question is, why did this war start? At first glance, it looks like the war began suddenly. But the deeper reasons have been building for many years. The main issues include: number one, Iran's nuclear program. Israel believes Iran is trying to develop nuclear weapons, which Israel sees as an existential threat. Number two, regional influence. Iran supports several armed groups across the Middle East, while Israel and the United States see this as a major security risk. Number three, power struggle in the Middle East. The region is strategically important because of oil, trade routes, and military influence. But this conflict didn't stay local. It affected the entire world. This conflict quickly started affecting the entire world. One of the most important places affected is the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow sea route carries a huge portion of the world's oil supply. During the conflict, Iran threatened shipping in the strait, and missile strikes disrupted oil transport. When this happens, oil prices rise, shipping slows down, global markets become unstable. In other words, a war thousands of kilometers away can affect fuel prices in your own city. But this example matters for a very important reason. This conflict shows the same hidden pattern we discussed earlier. Just like previous world wars, tensions built slowly for years. Countries competed for power and security. Alliances formed, and finally a major conflict erupted. The real danger is that when many powerful countries become involved, a regional war can grow into a much bigger global crisis. Let's break this down in the simplest way possible. Imagine two neighbors living peacefully for years. At first, everything is fine, but slowly small issues begin. One neighbor builds a wall closer to the boundary. The other complains about noise or parking. Both start getting angry and suspicious. The tension keeps growing. Then, one day, a small argument happens about something minor, and suddenly a huge fight breaks out. But the real cause was years of frustration and competition, not that one small argument. This is exactly how conflicts between countries often begin. So when we look at conflicts like the Israel-US Iran war, we start realizing something important. Wars rarely begin in a single moment. They begin years earlier, quietly, with growing rivalry and fear. And that is the hidden reason behind many of the biggest wars in history. Do you think the world is slowly moving toward another global war? Or are we learning from history? Comment below, yes or a no, and tell me why. Most people only see the news. But on this channel, we uncover the hidden reasons behind world events. So if you enjoy this type of content, hit subscribe and join us.